What's up guys, TommieBAcademy here. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the ultimate guide to backside 180s. What is a backside 180? As I am going down the fall line or going down the hill, within the first 90 degrees, my back is facing down the hill. Now, if I were to go in the opposite direction, that would be a frontside 180. There is a lot of confusion with just terminology of frontside and backside, but like I said, first 90 degrees, if I spin my chest back up the hill, that is going to be a backside 180. Backside 180s are a super awesome trick, but can be a little scary simply because you're going blind to the landing. And what I mean by blind is I don't really get to see what's underneath me. So it's extremely important that we have some awesome body positions to make sure we're setting ourselves up for success. So we're actually gonna start from the bottom of our board and work our way up. Now, the first thing that's extremely important is we want to take off on a definitive edge on a backside rotation. If you are going off of a jump and you're actually skidding off, you're going to be putting on the brakes, which is not a good thing, especially when it comes to big jumps. The other thing is you don't have as much grip on the takeoff, so you're going to feel like you're slipping out. Not awesome. So we're going to make sure we're starting with a nice little carve. If you're looking to support the channel, consider picking up a Benetech waterproof hoodie. So imagine you're snowboarding on a freaking rainy day. This thing is amazing, and let me prove it to you. It is literally waterproof. I'm in a shower and I am not soaking wet. Pick up your Benetech hoodie down below. Isn't that freaking cool? So to be able to achieve a slight edge, what we're gonna wanna do is distribute our weight evenly between the length of our board. And the way we're gonna do that is press both shins against the front of your boot. What that's gonna do is allow us to get tilt, which means we're actually carving the snowboard. Now, like I said, you're gonna wanna do this 99% of the time when you're hitting a jump and you're doing a backside rotation, whether it's a 180, 360, 540 and beyond, you wanna use the same fundamentals as what I'm explaining. Now after that, we wanna press our shins into the front of our boots and we wanna keep our hips slightly extended, which allows us to keep our spine up. Now the biggest reason we wanna keep our spine up is so that as we take off in the backside 180, that we have a balanced position in the air. This is extremely important. A lot of people will tend to just flex at the hips and their chest will drop down. And then now imagine that the front side of your body and your chest is dropping down. Guess what? You're already in a tilted position. And as I catch some air, I'm already out of balance. So our takeoff position is extremely important. And we're gonna dive into flat ground 180s, going up to some jumps. The principles are the same. But the other benefit of keeping our spine more upright, it allows us to wind up our shoulder in a balanced position. This wind up is gonna be very crucial for when we're doing flat ground 180s all the way up to the big tricks like I had said earlier. So as we're doing the 180, we're pressing our shins against the boots, our hips are slightly open, and our lead shoulder is gonna allow us to rotate with our front side of our body downhill, and then we can take our lead shoulder and throw it back up the hill. That's how we initiate the rotational momentum. Big words for just spin. So as I wind up, I wanna throw, and it's extremely important that I look back uphill. We have to be comfortable with not seeing the ground anymore, and that's just part of this trick. You have to just own that and understand that and be willing to accept it. The next big part is we got to be able to balance throwing the trick in terms of rotation, but we also got to create some separation from the ground, meaning we got to catch some air. So what I like to do is my spine is in charge of throwing the trick and my leg is in charge of getting in the air. They have two completely separate jobs. Now the sequence for this backside 180 is as I sink down getting ready to jump, I'm opening my shoulder. As I throw my shoulder, simultaneously I'm extending my legs. So this movement happens together. They're in synchronized form. It's amazing. So I sink down, wind up, and I extend and I throw my lead shoulder and I'm gonna look back uphill. As I look back uphill, I'm going to be catching some air and I'm going to allow my upper and lower body to rotate together. Now, a lot of the times, you're going to want to create some upper lower body separation. What that means is as I'm looking back uphill, I'm going to have my lower body continue the rotation so that my board can complete the full backside 180. My goal is to land back on my toes. So you could consider this a toe-to-toe drill if you wanted to. Backside 180 off the toe, and then land back on the toe. The reason I like landing on my toes is it helps complete the rotation, and as I land in a carve, I don't keep the rotation going. You'll notice if you do a backside 180 and you land on your heels, it's really easy for your board to keep going. I know this is a lot to consume, but this is the ultimate guide to backside 180s, and here on the channel, we get super nerdy. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with a friend, because we're here to make you an awesome snowboarder. In the most ideal world, I would love for you to do 10 to 15, maybe even 20 static backside 180s. Essentially what you're doing is you're working on that timing, the throw, being comfortable with your shoulders, being uphill. Now, this is not going to 100% translate into the ultimate backside 180, because if you're across the fall line like I am, essentially you're going to backside 180 and you naturally end up on your heels. That's okay. So think about this drill more as the initiation and the throw, or think about this drill more as the initiation and what I do in the air, a little bit less in the landing. From there, we are going to now move down the fall line, but I don't want to make this super dangerous, and I don't want to make the gnarliest leap into doing a backside 180 where I feel like I'm scared and going to fall. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a backside 180 by simply staying on the ground. Again, you could do 5, 10, 15, even 20 of those before you move on is the most ideal situation. If you're looking for a video on how to ride switch, because with this trick you got to learn switch, check out the link in the description below. For this drill, we're going to point our board straight down the fall line. We're going to open up our shoulder, and as we are making that toe side turn, we're going to throw. Now, this whole duration of the rotation, you're going to stay on your toe side edge all the way until you get to a switch toe side edge, and then you should feel your edge lock in as you point down the fall line. If you're not fully feeling that locked in movement, think about as you get down the fall line, you want to push your shins against the front of your boots just a little extra so that you can get that tilt to lock in. For this whole duration of this backside 180, I highly recommend that you keep your weight and your shoulders leaned over your toe side edge so you don't catch the downhill edge. Once you're feeling pretty awesome and you've done a whole bunch of those, you might as well try a back one into a switch back one so you can come back to your dominant direction, because why not? We're already here. Let's practice both so we can become that awesome snowboarder. Once you're feeling pretty awesome and pretty amazing after that drill, we're going to catch a little bit of air. But again, we're not going to take a massive leap. So we are going to do your heel side turn, and you're going to do a toe side turn, and this time we're going to add a little bit of air, but I do not expect you to do the full front backside 180. What you will do is jump to 90 degrees, and then I want you to scissor your legs until you get your board to go switch back down the fall line to complete that 180. Now you may be asking what a scissor means. Essentially, you have your lower extremities moving in opposition. So one leg is going to move down the hill, the other leg is going to move back up the hill. This allows us to make a very rapid and quick movement, and you're going to see this on the screen. As I land, I immediately scissor my legs into that toe side edge. Once again, I had said this earlier in a couple steps, you want to land with your front side of your body facing back uphill and your lower body is separated. You may be asking, Tommy, why the heck do we do this? The biggest reason why we do this is because we want to ensure that we engage that toe side edge and stop the rotation. It's a beautiful thing. So make sure you do that. This also does translate to backside fives, which you're going to see here on the screen as well. I do this for backside five. So it's not just learning the skill for a 180. You're going to take this through the duration of your career. Now, let's make some moves, my dudes. We're going to do a backside 180, and we're going to jump up in the air and try to go from a toe side edge, completely jump, do a backside 180 degrees to land back on your toe side edge. The goal is to go to toe to toes. Now, the beautiful part about snowboarding is that we can look back in the snow and see, did we do a 180 rotation or did we skid at all? Ideally, you have a pencil line takeoff and you land back in a pencil line. It's pretty awesome. So you can do a backside 180 pretty slow, look back uphill, and if you have more of a skid, that's okay. It just means you need to jump more, throw harder, or scissor just a little bit more at the end. The goal is to be able to do a backside 180.
And then hopefully by this point, at the end of this video, if you've literally followed all of these steps, you should be an absolute wizard and god at backside 180s. Feel free to take this to off of rails, off of boxes, side hits, or even to bigger and bigger jumps. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know we got nerdy, but that was the point of this video, is to go deep, deep, deep dive into a backside 180. And then you start to realize it's not just a backside 180, there's so much involved. So make sure you guys like the video if you like the nerd. And we're gonna see you guys in the next video. Nothing but love, guys. Appreciate you hanging out. We out.